All right, guys. Hey, what is going on? Back once again. So, of course, wahoo, ha, yes, sir. Super Mario Galaxy movie is Hollywood's highest grossing release of 2026 with 629 million. And of course, Project Hail Mary surpasses $500 million. So, here are more of the box office results and the numbers. So, of course, while the Super Mario Galaxy movie was a towering, ticket sales will continue to climb and climb, likely towards the $1 billion mark in the coming weeks. It will contend with the major upcoming tentpoles like Spider-Man Brand New Day, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Toy Story 5, and Avengers Doomsday. And of course, it retained the crown through the rest of the year. Universal's Mario Adventure from 2023, Super Mario Bros. Movie, ended up with the second highest grossing release of that year with $1.3 billion. Mario dominated the international box office with his second release, collecting $83.5 million in 81 territories. So far, the family-friendly film has earned $320 million overseas and $300 million in North America. The top earning markets include Mexico with $47.8 million, the United Kingdom and Ireland with $37.4 million, Germany with $29 million, and France with $23.9 million. While Project Hail Mary is no longer the biggest movie of the year, the Ryan Gosling-led space epic has surpassed notable box office milestone with ticket sales above $500 million. Amazon's MGM has generated $254 million overseas and $256.5 million domestically, with its global tally to $510 million after 4 weekends of release. Over the weekend, Project Hail Mary remained a force with $30.6 million from 88 international markets, down just 31% from previous weekend. And as also noteworthy, A24's provocative comedy, the drama has added a solid $16 million from 50 overseas and territories from a sophomore outing. And the R-rated movie the R-rated movie stars Robert Pattinson and Zendaya has impressively earned $35 million internationally and $65 million globally over 2 weekends of release, and it cost under $28 million to produce. The drama has inspired plenty of online conversation through its controversial central premise. A twisted story revolves around a couple's relationship is tested after the reveal of the worst thing they've ever done, which should help the film stick around on the big screen. Okay, so all of these things that happened, of course, in the box office for this results. So the Super Mario Brothers movie, making over $629 million, it was widely globally accepted and commercially marketed, just like the first installment. Of course, $83.5 million in 81 territories, and breaking it down from different places like Mexico, United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, and France, because multitudes of generations, families moving on, have definitely enjoyed these newer iterations, more adaptations and iterations of the classic video games of the same name, the Smash Brothers, Mario Galaxy movie, and of course the Donkey Kong games in Mario and installments and properties, have gone out to go see it. Wasn't just because of just word of mouth, it's because they know that these movies, the Mario Galaxy movies, are known to be kid-friendly oriented, family-friendly oriented, and they knew they can really atop their way of justifying their own space. And knowing that the gameplay we saw, of course, all of the cast members, I already have pretty much broken down in my review. Of course, we have Brie Larson as Rosalina. Y'all, she played by Donald Glover, voice acted by Donald Glover. Rosalina, voice acted by Brie Larson. And then, of course, the return of everybody else from Peach to Luigi, Mario himself, Bowser, King Bowser, and his son. Like, the thing is that though that the characters and also the musical score and just the actual gameplay of it made everybody go out to go see it because it was marketed and planned so well, and because it's an establishment. Everybody knows the Mario games, from kids, adults, non-gamers, and then of course, people who are fans of the games itself are really gonna go out in droves. Are really gonna go out in droves to really go and support it. And I feel like that though that aspect of the Mario movie is really and captures that emboldened aspect and really hits for certain audiences. Now, for me, as I did my review and as I told my thoughts about the film, I wasn't the biggest fan of the film itself. And like I said, a lot of galaxy hopping, a lot of trend hopping, hopping from different other places. That's fine. The younger audiences, the younger kids, definitely, my family and friends will definitely go out and go see it. If they haven't, they already have gone out and see it. And then, of course, the people I know, that I used to go in high school, they was calling me on the phone last, nights ago. And they was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go see the Mario movie with my little brothers. And so, yeah, this definitely for them. They definitely will go out and go in droves to go see it. Even my older sister would go and see it herself. She was taking her son, too, to go see it. Actually, she'd rather watch it at home, actually, instead of going out and paying money to go see it. But anyway, the point of the matter is that is the Mario movie, whether you're a casual, whether you're a gamer or non-gamer, or whether you're enjoying the film on the aspect of just surface level or even above it, will definitely make its purpose and made its stake, just like the first installment of why it does it. I mean, I think it's a great thing that you still have nostalgic games, in the past, are still continuing to rack home money in the box office. I think that's a really good thing. But it's definitely not like Sonic the Hedgehog. I feel like Sonic the Hedgehog and throughout those games, the characters were right, it were very accurate, and it involved with the story. There's a little to less storyline in the Mario Galaxy movie. There's a little to less storyline, and it's more focusing on, of course, fan service, Easter eggs, and pretty much trying to build up that suspected, attraction from just certain lines and Easter eggs from the games and just the actual play and of the film. Is really giving you a nostalgic feel and purpose of it. So yeah, it's a good thing that it's making money, continues to rack home everything. So, and I was not expecting anything different, like the first film, and making that it made $1.3 billion. I think this movie might make even more than that, probably at around close to $2 billion, if I'm being honest with you, because it has so much great word of mouth. Now, getting to Project Hail Mary, and why I think that it does have a chance, because the expectation of Project Hail Mary, because I think it had right. Well, initially they lied about the numbers. They said it's supposed to have a $248 million budget, and I think they lied and basically said it was going to be around that amount of range. I don't think it. But they had to reinflate the numbers. I think Warner Brothers and somebody else had to readjust the numbers, and they make the adjustment and said that the movie costs around $200 million to make. Still has to make 3 times its budget. It has to make 3 times around its budget. So we're talking around $600-700 million, and it's an accomplishing feat. But it has to do 2 of the 3 things. Of course, we already knew about the great word of mouth, and we knew about the good word of mouth, great word of mouth, and then also the really good amount of reviews, not just coming from the online publications, like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, and people that's on Reddit or whatever the case may be. Not just those online publications, or even people on, like I was saying, on Variety or Hollywood Reporter that's doing these things and giving you the news and updates. I'm talking specifically from the actual critics on YouTube, the actual people that go out and review movies for a living. Like, they have to get a good word of mouth from them in order for it to really substantially and also fans and audience members. The audience really has to gravitate and grab towards it. Oh, hey, Aiden, 901. Hey, what's going on? He said Project Hail Mary was way too long. Now, as I did my review on Project Hail Mary, there was one thing, and I'm glad you pointed out, Aiden. Yeah, it is a bit long and stretched, but the only problem I have with the movie is I really think the book based off of Andy Weir was more serious upscaling in tone and story. I feel like there are times where the movie felt a bit too humorous. It felt like it was thrown certain bits and pieces of comedy and one-liners in serious moments that really took away of some aspects. Not, and I'm not talking about specifically with Ryan Gosling's character Ryan Grace, or Rocky, played by James Arthur. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about there are certain comedy and lines that involve scenes with them in it, but that just really took away from the film. That really didn't hit me in the sense that it grabbed me. I just think some comedic moments and elements and one-liners were just unnecessary in some instances, and certain fans who are not really too much to sci-fi movies that involve a bit of comedy may get turned off. And also, I do think the space going adventure stuff in it will gravitate fans, will keep fans going, but at the same time will turn fans off. And that will be a big flaw. Is just the humor, the tone, the upscaling, and the story at certain points did kind of feel like at times a little redundant and repetitive to some fans. But to me, I do feel like the comedy and the humor was not as needed as the movie was anticipating, and as you would think, and it did drove audiences and certain fans unalike a bit off. And when I went to go see the film in the theaters, and as I left with questions surrounding, of course, Ryland Grace, and of course Rocky, played by James Ortiz, and I'm thinking like, well, are they gonna make a? Because the way it ended off, the way that movie ended off, because I thought the ending was great, and it ended off in a cliffhanger. Like, is there another chapter? Is there another book based off of this? Is it gonna be something more added to it, or because? And also, I heard some, and I also made a report behind this. I also made another video reported behind the scenes that there was a extension. There was a longer film that was extended around close to 4 hours long. But I think the people, not necessarily working with Warner Brothers, but the people that was behind the film with Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, one of the people, the executive producers, told them to cut the film down, cut the film off, because the film was going to be more than at least close to 4 hours long. And it was like, because it was so much it was so much entail of like, it was a couple of scenes that could have been involved, even from the book, which of the book and the novel, which I finally have read, not all the way. But there was some moments where I thought it was gonna be some scenes where it involved a courtroom, because that's what I thought it was gonna be when I saw it. And initially, that was actually gonna be planned in the film, but unfortunately, that didn't go to plan because, like I said, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller was told to cut the film and shape the film down, like at least about almost over an hour and a half, and that's what really kind of made. I think that's what also made people think that the ending and even close getting to that point where it made it feel like it was gonna be on a cliffhanger. So yeah, my thoughts around the box office. I think it's gonna be a little bit tough and challenging for Project Hail Mary to get around that expected budget range, which was around 700 so million. I think that's gonna be a little bit tougher to get to that range, because of course you got the Mario movie being one of the highest grossing box office movies, and then of course you got the Michael Jackson biopic film coming in the next couple of weeks, and then later on down the line you got Spider-Man Brand New Day. So it's gonna be tough and challenging for Project Hail Mary to get around that range. So it's gonna be tough. I can see it make it at least around 630 some million, somewhere around there. But it's gonna be tough for it to reach that mark. But it's still would have been a financial success, and it still is going to be that, which is the highest achievement above itself. But it's got to make the money internationally, like every other movie does. It's got to make the money internationally in that market space. Like I was just telling you about Mario and how it appeals to people inside of France, Germany, and so on and so forth. I think Project Hail Mary has got to continue to get international money overseas, versus the domestically, because if that would be the case, it will have a shot of doing that, because those people overseas and internationally, they the ones that are buying and going to go out and go see the films in the theater, that theatrical experience on upon release themselves, just as much as the Americans are, and that's the main international market that has to appeal. So yeah, those are my thoughts on both the Mario movie and the Project Hail Mary movie's box office results and so far. So yeah, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section down below. I am out. Peace.